welcome to Lucy's vlog. In this video, I'll be taking you with me to my final week of class and the final exam season for this semester. So without further ado, let's get started. It's been a very challenging semester. Back in February, we were transitioning from online school to in-person school, and everyone has to spend extra time commuting every day. Not to mention during the second year of ECE, the courses themselves are getting harder. Especially in this semester, all 5 courses have weekly or bi-weekly lab sessions. I really appreciate all professors and TA's work for the entire semester, and I've especially learned so many debugging skills. course that I like the most this semester is ECE 243 Computer Organization. I like how the lectures were carefully structured so that the professor was moving at a reasonable pace while leaving enough time for demos and students' extra questions. This course is a continuation of last semester's ECE 241 Digital Systems. However, I feel much more comfortable with this semester's materials. I think it is partially because of the in-person teaching method. Last semester for ECE 241, we had to watch a series of pre-recorded lecture videos before coming into the in-person lecture, but I think I prefer the teaching method for this course, where we have 3 lectures a week and all materials were taught during these in-person lectures. Another highlight of ECE 243 is that the lab performances are heavily emphasized in running our lab project on actual hardwares, where we consider software simulation tools are just help debugging but don't fully demonstrate the functionalities of our lab designs. This is to contrast last semester's ECE 241 labs, where we rely entirely on auto testers in terms of marking. From all the labs and the final processor project, I've had so much more experience with the assembly language and Verilog, and those valuable memories can never be taken away. Hey, I just came out of the lab, and this is the most unforgettable lab I've ever done. In the first hour, none of the groups doing the processor was getting their board working, and the TA just told us the given file for the FPGA pin assignment was wrong. So we have to get the pin assignment file from the previous lab's given project file. And we did that. Then when I copied all my final project file into the previous lab's pin assignment project, it was still not working. And the D1 SoC board was actually displaying lab 8 output on hex display. And it took me another hour to figure out the problem. It turns out I have to manually overwrite the part5.sof file. This is done when you downloading your .sos file into your D1 SoC board, and you have to manually click the .sof file and then do a configure, and then you can run it, and then the board will actually execute the correct MIF file. I think the reason why we didn't have this issue before is that for lab 7 and 8, for each part of those labs, we had a different project folder. And within each folder, we have a different Quartus project. And for each project, we only have one MIF file. We don't have to switch back and forth between multiple MIF files. So I think that's why we didn't realize we have to manually overwrite the .sof file. Because otherwise, it will just execute the previous .mif file. I think this is the similar problem to our 297 switch city problem, because if you don't clear one of the global variables when you switch a city, actually in the next city you will be looking at the previous city's information, which is definitely not correct. So you have to clear the previous thing again and load in the new stuff. Hey guys, I just finished the first exam, which is ECE 221 electromagnetics. I think it's so funny that we are allowed to bring a calculator, but on the actual exam paper there's not a single numerical value. They're all symbols. I actually got stuck on one of the questions, and they actually give us a hint. They want us to use the derivative of a long function and then use the chain rule to take the derivative of whatever is inside the long function. I just thought at least I have to have some sort of long function to take derivative, because at first I wrote down some random formulas and do some like random manipulations until I actually thought about this hint, and then I switched to the other derivative formula, and then everything just worked out. Hey, I just finished my second exam, which is ECE 243 computer organizations, and I feel like I did much better than the midterm, so I'm very happy about it. I'm so glad I was looking at the cache memory section right before the exam, so I finally understand like how to check if there's a cache miss or a cache hit. I'm so surprised to see that there was no dirty bit, and there's no eviction, there's no cache write. So I'm super excited about that. And there was no VGA buffer question on the exam. That VGA part was the most confusing part of the course for me. I'm so glad I wasn't tested on that. Still questions I didn't even look at the valid bit, and I just look at the address and the tag. If they match, I just say it's a cache hit. But it wasn't until the third question that I started to remember I have to look at the valid bit, and then I rushed back to just double check the first two questions. I'm so glad I remembered that.